Tuesday morning, 9:30, I'm at the coffee machine, thinking about complexity, constraints, constructors, and what the next best step is. Then the head of IT shows up. Hi, Johannes. How are you? Fine. Well, how's our agile transformation going? Well, you should know. You're the leader. When you brought me here, I was kind of clear that I'm not a change leader. You leaders, you need to own this. You need to drive this. I didn't say this to him. I just thought it. But yeah, and then he continues. Well, I've been thinking. Now we have all these teams here. I've been thinking we should hire a coordinator who can help them to plan and coordinate all the work. Or just we might need a structure, I said. He looked to me with empty eyes, and I thought, well, that was not the answer he wanted, or he didn't understand me. And that's a problem. I, as a coach, I should have super skills in communication. I should be good at explaining, and I have failed. So I will try to explain to you how I'm thinking. Let's see how that goes. Leadership, it's a hard job. Leaders are actually really good at leading. They can pull people up, show people the way, and it's hard. And especially if the system is not working for you. If the escalator is not moving, it's much harder. If it's going the wrong direction, it's super hard. So then we think, okay, we need to fix the system. Where's the switch on the organization to change the direction? But there is no switch. And why do we even look for a switch? Well, I blame Newton. We have a pen here, and I push on it. It moves. Hooray, great, I did something. I, as leader, acted, action, reaction. But there are things going on here, forces we don't see. Gravity pulls on this one, and the table is a constraint that's stopping it to be here. If I would lean the table different directions, it would be a different outcome when I push on it. And it gets worse because there are things we don't even see. There is no obstacle here. So someone has cleared the path. So we need to see the whole environment. And if you as a leader think, well, leading, I have some knobs, I can help the team, I can guide them and drive them. And if you have the team here is a steel ball, help them to avoid the pitfalls, and there are obstacles on the way, and they change the direction. It's a hard job, quite intense, and it's a bit complicated. But this is still a mechanic or a system metaphor. But the first step is, could I make the game easier? Could I maybe design the board before and create good, you call it guardrails, and remove some of the common pitfalls to make it easier by designing it. It's not as satisfactory just pushing and see the action. And it gets even worse than that. Teams and people, we are organisms. And self-directed, we are complex beings. And when we try to align this and design, we need to see that we need to organize the organisms, hence the wording. So it's a bit messy. But we know that Scrum works in complexity. And Scrum is an off-the-shelf product, like the Billy bookshelf, pun intended. And it's, in theory, kind of easy to install. Scrum is also good because it scales if we have many teams. But over time, we will adapt and improve and change the process. And the workplace cannot only have Scrum, we have other parts to make it a whole workplace. And after a while, it looks like something else. And does this scale? I don't know. So if I just zoom out from Scrum to see what's happening, we observe the world and we handle things in a process, something like this. And then I recognize that, well, yeah, there are some steps here. We observe, we orient, fix how to do it, decide and act, and then we create feedback loops, look in the product and learn from that, and then we learn from how we did it, we get the double feedback loop. And now I recognize the pattern of ODA. And maybe I could use ODA as a constructor when I design our processes and systems. You can look up OODA loop yourself and don't say more about that. But if you want to scale, first advice is think on why you need to scale so you start in the right direction. Is it because of speed or something else? Then you need to create a model that can handle the actual environment you are in. It's probably a bit more complicated than just one team. And then you should separate the problems and the processes to make it easier to handle. I like to create 3 levels: the team level, then the teams level, where we have more coordination issues, and also 1 level for the strategy. You should recognize this. And here I can apply my new constructor. I can apply the OODA loop on each level, and then OODA becomes a fractal. And of course, how we solve all these problems in each step will vary depending on where you are and how to make that thing working. For example, if you want to make decisions, you can use Jimmy Allen's excellent little book to look at how you can make decisions. You can randomize it maybe, or find how to make decisions on each level. So you can design all the steps differently and fix this. I also think you need, before you start to work with this, find some principles that you believe in and use them. This is just a set of beliefs randomly. I don't know if you can use them or if they are applicable at all, but examples of principles. And next step is to look at each step wherever you are and figure out, why do we do this step? And what's the principle we could use? And how would it look like? There are different ways, depending on what you want of this. And avoid, this is not a heroic work of one leader doing a big upfront design of the system. Of course, you should use all the brain power that's available in the company. Do this together. Call for a workshop and do it iteratively. Hypothesis transformation, as I heard before. And learn along the way. So back to my head of IT. He wanted coordination. And yes, we needed coordination of the teams. And his solution was to have a person, that's kind of fast actually, to make decisions for everybody else. Or we could have another setup. Instead of a chief product owner, we could have a coordinating product owner who helps the other ones to figure out and mediates and listen to people. Or, as my intentional idea was, to just create a structure, create an arena where these people can meet in a regular way with a frequency and agenda and a purpose and some directions. And maybe we can solve that without having a new role. So, to summarize, I think that leaders, they're usually kind of good at leadership, but that's just a small part of the skills they need. We will know that the most important thing is to be able to set the purpose and direction. That has the most impact. But I think the management skills, and I include design skills in that domain, is underestimated because it has a huge impact on how easy it makes it to be a leader and how well the organization functions. So, if you get this skill, I think leaders can become like skilled bartenders. And they can create these sweet, tasty drinks or cocktails that works in your organization and pick from frameworks and make the best thing what they really, really need. And on that note, talking about cocktails on a Friday, I think it's a great ending of this speech. So I'll just say cheers and thank you.